Justice League Gods and Monsters isn't your typical Justice League story. It's actually not even really a Justice League story. At least not the Justice League that you know. This is very much an elseworld tale, with versions of the characters that don't resemble the heroes and villains that they're based on. A lot of the time, they're not even the same characters that they're based on. This Justice League consists of just its core members. The Trinity, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the founding fathers and mother of the Justice League. Though these aren't the heroes that they seem to be. Actually, calling them heroes at all may be a little bit questionable. Each having not only a different backstory than their mainstream counterpart, but each basically being a completely different person. I mean, 2.5 of these heroes aren't even the same characters outside of their moniker. This Batman is a literal Batman. Or maybe more accurately, a man-bat. The part is portrayed as not being Bruce Wayne, but rather Kirk Langstrom. And that being the case, the character has a lot more in common with Dracula than he does the Dark Knight. He feeds off fiends, a vampire whose victims have plenty of victims of their own. So, having said that, the role was perfectly cast, as the part is played by Michael C. Hall, who has a history of playing characters who only take the lives of criminals. Like Man-Bat, this Batman's transformation is a side effect of an experiment gone wrong. Whereas the original was trying to find a cure for deafness, this Kirk Langstrom was obsessed with curing his own cancer. Wonder Woman isn't Diana Prince, but rather Becca, who, if I'm being entirely honest, I'm not actually all that familiar with. But from what I gather, she's the daughter of one of the creators of Mother Boxes, and she's also the love interest of Darkseid's son, which also seems to be the case here as well. Not exactly an outstanding resume. Kinda seems like her greatest accolades is being one character or two removed from relevance. But if there are any nerds out there looking to flex their comic knowledge, feel free to drop some facts in the comment section below. Superman isn't Superman, at least not in full. He shares the same biological mother, but this time around, he's the son of Zod, not Jor-El, as the villain imprints his genes into the incubator pod that carried the hero. Also in this version of events, he isn't Clark Kent, the son of Jonathan and Martha. He's Hernan Guerrero, son of migrant farmers. You would think that that would tell you more about the character's upbringing, but it's actually hardly ever mentioned. Fun fact though, this character is played by this guy from Catwoman. Yes, I know that he's a good actor, but it's funnier to call him that guy from Catwoman. So that is what I will call him. Those are far from the only changes that are made. Lois Lane isn't just a reporter, but is in addition an on-air personality. Most notably though, she is not a fan of this Superman. Hernan does his best to try to reach out and connect to the reporter, explaining his secret origin to try and give her a better understanding of him. But it doesn't go as well as it does in a lot of other continuities, with the pair not taking a liking to each other and just overall voicing a disdain of one another. That is until the very final moments of the film. Solomon Grundy, Livewire, and Cheetah all appear as a part of a terrorist organization. A team of scientists working together are made up of alternate versions of Mr. Freeze, Steel, the Atom, Dr. Light, Bumblebee, Mr. Terrific, and the father of Cyborg, just to name a few. Jimmy Olsen is now this guy, alright, but most surprisingly of all, Lex Luthor now has hair. That's how you know that this is an alternate universe. In actuality, there's a couple changes to the character here. He feels less like Lex Luthor and more like Amanda Waller, given his position in the story. Which is interesting because Amanda Waller is now more like Lex Luthor than she is Amanda Waller, as she's presented as the President of the United States. Hair aside, Luthor is not the same for all intents and purposes, as this Lex isn't a power-hungry madman, but instead a man on a mission for truth and knowledge. He is at times an ally, and at other points in time an adversary to the team. The part's played here by Jason Isaacs, who I think is an incredible choice. One I could even see being performed in live action, if given the chance. The Justice League are framed for the deaths of the country's most brilliant scientists. Suspicion builds up as it's revealed that these victims worked under Superman. And even more so when their deaths are designed to look as if they fell prey to the League's powers. For some, this information confirms their bias to the team, and for others, it sways their opinion on them. including the government's. The government enacts Project Fair Play, a contingency plan for the Justice League should they ever go rogue. An army of soldiers equipped with weapons powered by red solar radiation energy, essentially acting as a synthetic Kryptonian star. In actuality, those crimes are committed by a series of robot assassins, whom are never referred to by name here, I don't think, but I always just assumed that they were supposed to be a stand-in for Amazo. But in actuality, they're based on the Metal Men, who I believe are heroes in most continuities. Once again, not something I'm all that familiar with. In the end, it's revealed that this drone army is led by Langstrom's longtime friend Magnus, who intends on setting off a nanite bomb that will lead to the erasure of everything. Ultimately, he's defeated by the League, with Lex Luthor helping the team clear their name. And that's Justice League Gods and Monsters. From what I can see, this movie is loved by many, and has gotten a lot of praise. Unfortunately, I can't fully join in on that sentiment. That's not to say the movie's bad by any means. As a matter of fact, I enjoyed it, and in a lot of ways I think it's quite good. I just feel that ultimately, while it was always interesting, it wasn't always entertaining. It feels like something that was better in concept than it was in execution. I don't hate the movie by any means, but I also can't say that I love it. I actually enjoyed the animated shorts that preceded this movie a little bit more than the movie itself. The biggest issue with this film for me is that it's doing too much in its short runtime. In under an hour and a half, they're telling all three main characters' tragic origins, they're trying to set up a world mostly unfamiliar to an audience, establishing a main plot, a big threat, and everything in this is so foreign to fans that every scene is a brand new introduction and explanation. And I think in the midst of all that, a lot of the characterization and development of these characters kinda gets lost in translation. We don't get a deep comprehension of these characters by the end of the movie. We only have a very vague understanding of who they are. And to me, that's kinda disappointing. Although, having said that, this isn't all this continuity has to offer, as there was actually a tie-in comic that explains a lot more of the background and backstory of this continuity. So if you like this video and would be interested in seeing me take a look back at these issues, let me know in the comment section below by leaving a comment saying,
"Free the Justice League!"
I am vengeance. I am the night, and that was V Infuso. Just remember, if you're not tuning in, then you're missing out.
So, if you like the words that came out of his mouth hole, and you too would like to become a V-generate, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, nerds!
And if you're not joining the fun, you're in for one bad day. And you know what they say about having one bad day?
Catch him next time. Same bat time. Same bat channel.